Andy Nowicki, altrightnovelist.com. So here's another reason why one should opt for Stoicism. And it's something that occurred to me, and it's actually a more self-interested reason, and actually kind of low-level reason that kind of appeals to one's vanity in a way. So it's a strange way to appeal to one's better nature through one's worse nature, but it arrives at the same source, and as long as it takes you where you need to go, I think maybe it's acceptable, because we are all a combination of our better nature and our worse nature. So if we can make our worse nature do what is best for us, then we are successfully manipulating ourselves to be better men, which is a good thing. So here's what I thought. In the last video that I recorded, I discussed how we live in a time, it's been much remarked, time of the post-sexual revolution, where the way that it was supposed to work out was that everybody was supposed to be able to get more sex and thus be more happy, and we weren't going to be so constrained by monogamy and traditional rules of sexual restraint. But as it really turned out, taking away sexual restraint just made it so that the most successful men got the most women. They get their harems of women, because women are unrestrained from acting hypergamously, and so they all just are drawn to and are welcomed in by the most successful men. They would rather be a part of a successful man's harem than be with a man on their own social level. And so as a result, you have a lot of men who are on the lower echelon, who are lower status, who are denied companionship. Now here's the thing about this situation that should make you irritated and annoyed, and make you want to opt for Stoicism. Again, it's an appeal to vanity, but if you think about it a certain way, it works, and it works like this. Let me elaborate. The way that things are working now, the woman who would want to be with you if you were a low status man or even a midland status man now sees you as beneath her and wants to be with somebody who's a high status man, who's got money, success, power, clout, or what have you, some marker of status. Well, doesn't it annoy you that if all that it took, let me put it this way, all that it took for this woman who's supposed to be on your level, who in a saner culture, pre-sexual revolution culture, would want to be with you, all that it took to get her to not want to be with you, to think that you were beneath her, is to have this restraint taken away. Does that annoy you? Does that bother you? Doesn't that make you think, well, screw him anyway? I mean, think about it. You'd want to return. I mean, if you are an incel, or if you're somebody who is actually desiring to be coupled, desiring companionship, desiring sex, desiring what have you, what you're basically saying is, I want to return to those days when a woman would settle for somebody like me. Well, doesn't the fact that they're not, that they see you as someone to settle for, doesn't that bother you a little bit? Are you really someone to settle for? Is that how you see yourself? It's not how I see myself. I'm not talking about at all about my own situation. I'm not bringing my personal life into this, but I am just saying, if I were you, if I were, well, I don't know who you are, to be fair, but if I were one of these incel types, that would irritate me to no end. That would make me think to myself, well, I don't see myself as someone to be settled for. And, even if we were to return to the old ways, then woman's hypergamous nature would be restrained, and then she would decide to settle for me because there would be these checks and balances in place. She would get socially shamed if she left somebody on my level to be with somebody higher than me. She'd be seen as a tramp or a social climber for doing that kind of thing, instead of the "you go girl" kind of reaction that kind of behavior gets now, all too typically. Again, why would you want to be with someone who would see you in different circumstances as merely someone to settle for? Are you someone to be settled for? Is that the kind of man that you are? Is that the kind of man that you see yourself as? So screw it. Screw it. Be stoic. Again, this is an appeal kind of to vanity in a way. But I think it's an appeal to vanity in a way that might be helpful, that might help some who are still clinging to the whole incel vibe. It might help some of them decide, well, screw it, I'm better than this. I'm not a man to be settled for. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to go my own way. I'm going to be my own man. I'm going to do what interests me, what I think I've been called here to do, what I think will, the gifts that I've been inspired with that will, in some small way or maybe some larger way, make the world a better place. And I don't need somebody to settle for me, right? Because I'm not that type of person. So I don't want to return to the old way where a woman on my level would be with me just because she couldn't be with somebody that she sees as better than me. No, not at all. So just another thought. Let me know what you think if you want. Andy Nowicki, altrightnovelist.com.